have Dexter J. For Entertainer of the Year award, we have Kennedy Davenport. For Blue Check Award, Social Influencer of the Year, we have David Bull.
Oh, come on, David Bull.
For the Streets Award, Socialite of the Year, we have Lundy. For the Chef's Kiss Award, Chef/Caterer of the Year, we have Chef Jarrett. For the HIV Advocate of the Year Award, we have Derek Howard. For What's Happening Award, we have KKMS. And for the Fearless Ally Award, we have Ashley Ian, or Inez. Okay, and that is some of our history makers that are in the room today.
Hello everyone, my name is Trey Brown. I'm the Empowerment Program Manager here at Resource Center. I get to work with UBE, Fuse, Gender Brave, and as we're acknowledging some of our history makers, we have invited a few of them to say some nice words. And one of those people is actually one of our board of directors, Ashley Ennis, and she prepared a small video message because she couldn't be here today.
Go ahead, Ashley.
Go one moment.
There was a little speaker down there. We're having some technical difficulties. Just one moment.
Just one moment. Please enjoy this beautiful home music. This is all we do run through. I just want to check.
That's why I don't like Max.
J. Ron, can you bring me a bottle of water, please? Is this going on the Tender Child Network? Give me some. Oh.
All right. While we work out these technical difficulties real quick, we're going to invite one of our other speakers to come up and give us a few words of encouragement now. So I would love to bring to the floor the incomparable Kennedy Davenport.
Come on, Kennedy.
Incomparable.
Thank you. Oh, yes, ma'am.
Oh. Woo. Okay, come on.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Y'all having a good time tonight?
Yes.
I mean, that's a genuine question. I know a lot of hosts ask that question, but I genuinely like to know if you're having a good time. I was on my way up here and I was like, damn, I should have came late. They always call me up here to be the filler while they fix stuff. But, oh, shit. So yeah, back in 2021, I was awarded Entertainer of the Year, which I was very surprised and happy about. I've been in this business. This year will make 27 years. I started out 16 years old, still in school, wanting to do drag, but still not coming out. Acting weird. I wasn't out though, but I, hide my drag at the house and stuff. But I don't know. I mean, drag became full-time for me in 2005. I got out of the Navy and I had to make up my mind and make female impersonation my full-time job. And I did that because I gave up a career in dance, I gave up a career in singing, and so, you know, sometimes you just gotta get fed up of giving up and allowing people around you to determine your future. So I made the decision and I went full force. And a lot of times you have to lose a lot of things to get where you want to be and to get what you want. And I was living in a rooming house in Florida, paying $150 a week. I lost my car, but amen, I got where I needed to be. I had beautiful friends around me that supported me. And throughout my career, I've had beautiful people around me to support me. And I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't have people, or good people around me to push me and to support me. And the higher I came, the more, I brought them with me. So always bring the people that support you with you. Right? I was fortunate enough to make RuPaul's Drag Race. And that was, twice. And that was another big career step for me because I knew that if I wanted female impersonation to be my my livelihood and really make something out of it, then that was the step that I needed to go because I really didn't like the show. But I got tired of being booked with them and they get paid all this money and I'm the one that's turning the show and getting paid local pay. Yeah, so I was like, well, let me get where they at. And I was just fortunate to make it on the first audition, the first round. And I could say that decision changed my life. And I'm glad. Like a lot of times you have to step outside of your comfort zone. So I'm telling you my story to give you some good morals and some good things to think about. Sometimes you have to do things that you may not want to do. Like I left Dallas in 2003 at pretty much the height of my little drag career, but I knew that I needed a little bit more in life. I needed some more discipline. That's why I joined the Navy. I joined the Navy. I needed some discipline in my life. I was fast then. Ooh, real fast. Yeah. Like everybody, all the partying and stuff like that, I did that before I was 21. But I am, over 20 years, drug-free, sober. So I have an interesting story, but I say all of that to say, if I can do it, you can do it. And it just may take you getting out of your own city, right? Or continue to make a difference in your city to bring attention to your city, such as I did. I lived in Florida for 8 years. I came back home. I had to start over. You know, I had to create a whole new fan base. But I am so happy of my career. I'm happy that I have people that genuinely care about me, around me, all of my peers, my house families, all of the beautiful relationships that I have created since 2011. It really means a lot to me. So I thank you. A lot of times I may not speak to a lot of you guys, but when I'm in the club, just so y'all know, when I'm in the club and Kennedy's on, Kennedy is on. So you may have to stop a bitch, okay? And be like, hey, what's the tea? You know, it's nothing personal, but I do appreciate each and every hello. I appreciate each and every hug, and you all should feel the same, because without you, I can't do what I love to do, and without each other, we cannot survive. Right? So y'all got it now. Y'all ready? Because I can go on, honey. I put the, hey. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you so much for the honor. And it still means so much to me now, because for a very long time, I didn't feel appreciated by my city. So to be recognized, it really means a lot, and it shows that my hard work is paying off.
Thank you. I'm so grateful for Kennedy. She has been a sister of mine for a very long time. She's always coming to my rescue. Whenever I call, she never says no. Even when she has a mouthful of food, she's going to spit it out and take on the mic. So now we're going to get this video playing of our beautiful Ashley Ennis.
Good evening. My name is Ashley Ennis. I'm a Regional Director for HIV Community Operations with Gilead Sciences and a member of the Resource Center Board of Directors, as well as a proud supporter of United Black Element. I'm so sorry I couldn't be with you all tonight. I'm recovering from surgery, but I wanted to send a note of gratitude and acknowledgement. In my day-to-day work, I work across the southern United States to dismantle health disparities and inequities that continue to allow HIV and AIDS to thrive. It is my life's passion and my mission to ensure that Black and brown people, in particular Black and brown queer people, have equitable access to healthcare and HIV prevention and treatment so they can thrive and live their best lives just as it was intended. As far as United Black Element goes, it's an organization that I have been a part of and have worked with from the time I moved to Dallas about 12 years ago. As a Black queer woman, I have a lot of Black, same-gender loving friends that live in Dallas. And I'm hard-pressed to find one that has not been impacted in some way by United Black Element and the services and the activities that you all offer. In so many ways, you're impacting lives, you're touching lives, you're saving lives, you're giving people a sense of community, and for that, I'm forever grateful. To the Black history makers in the room, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your existence. Thank you for the work that you have done in the past. Thank you for the work that you're doing now. And thank you for the work that you will continue to do in the future. Know that Black queer history is Black history. And Black history is American history. So for that, know that representation matters. You matter. What you do matters. Being Black and queer is a gift. It's a gift that we get to live out every single day. So please continue to do the work that you're doing, continue to be who you are, and know that you will always have my love, my admiration, and my support. And I will continue to do all that I can to ensure that our community is able to be seen and to live their best lives possible. Thank you so much. And again, you have all my gratitude and all my love.
Oh, that was beautiful.
And now we're going to hear from a very talented and beautiful Naomi Green.
Thank you. Don't mind the rear. Something, I guess, got on me when I sat down. But I would definitely like to start by saying thank you. Thank you to the community in the city of Dallas, because I would not be able to stand here before you all without the support, the acceptance, the love of the LGBTQ community, and just the city of Dallas overall. And I'm so humbled and appreciated by it. It has not been an easy road getting here. I have had my own struggles, my own tragedies that I've turned into triumph. I really just traveled the road that God laid out for me. I typically pray and ask for Him to lead and guide me in the right direction. And I walk by faith, not by sight. And so I came to Dallas for one reason, which was a job with Smoothie King after enduring a tragedy, April 16, 2017. My car was shot up with myself and a loved one in it, and he passed away from that incident. And I was left to kind of pick up the pieces. And I say that to say, for some people, that situation would have crumbled them. They wouldn't have been able to get past that. But always remember, we're always going to deal with something and go through something in life. And life is 20% what happens to you and 80% how you respond. And for me, I was able to find solace in being able to help other people. And so just after a lot of soul searching and trying to figure out my purpose, I understood that it was for me to help my community because I was still here for a reason. And so I came to Dallas. I got into advocacy work professionally outside of what I have been doing personally. I really made it my business to be a part of the community, to learn the community, to support the community, to gain the trust of the community, and to really become one with the community. And luckily for me, I was accepted. I was supported, I was loved, and I was able to be of assistance to the community. And so that's why I stand here before you. We still have a long way to go. One thing that I talk about often is that we have a lack of housing for trans people, especially those of color, right? One of the most marginalized and disproportionately impacted communities, from transphobia, homophobia, stigma, all of the different things that you want to name as far as the isms are concerned. And so I made it my business to use my resources, rally the support that I had to raise over $6,000 for my birthday ball with the support of the community, and also for donations from a few individuals. And so that's just a start, right? I leveraged my resources, and I just ask that we all try to do the same to give back to a bigger purpose, whatever that purpose is for you all. For me, it is to help support Black LGBTQ people, but definitely Black trans people, right? And so if you have it in your heart to be able to help other people, figure out a way to see what that looks like and be able to give back and make an impact of your own in your own way. I'm still trying to go forward with mine and figure out what yours is, but I just want to say thank you again for all the love and support, and for the award that I received in 2021, and for you all to continue to believe in me, trust me, and then continue to back me, whatever my endeavors are. Thank you all so much.
Those were beautiful words. Those were beautiful words. Okay, and now we would like to invite up to the stage the UBE coordinator, AJ Walker. Y'all be clapping. Y'all be clapping.
Y'all are a key. Wow. Okay.
So, first and foremost, thank you all for being here. I'm very, very glad y'all came out. I'm going to start off by reading the UB mission statement for those that are not familiar with it really fast. United Black Element, a program of resource center, exists to enable Black, same-gender, loving men to fulfill their greatest potential for good. We are creating new ways for young men to come together, meet, socialize, and support each other. We provide alternative social events and opportunities for same-gender loving men to promote our diversity, well-being, and strength as individuals and as a community. We create a safe environment to talk and encourage each other about issues that are important to the community, including safer sex. Can y'all just give that a round of applause in itself? Can you do that one more time? All right. So, just to keep us on track and on schedule, and because of time, I did write something down about what UB means to me. I'm gonna try not to cry. Okay. So, as y'all know, I am the only UB coordinator now. We had a team of 3. And now it's 1. So, my time here with this program has been nothing short of amazing. UB has helped me learn who I am as a person, as well as how great it is to get to know other people within my community. Being from Nebraska, it's a, okay. Being from there is a very small town, so like when I moved to Texas, it's so many different people. It's a lot more. It's big. So it's just like me. It's a lot of Black people too. Is it? To me, on the side that I was on. But no, with UB though, I met 2 of my best friends. I met a family that I never know that I needed. And I also made a family within the community. So I appreciate everyone for being here. all the talks, any talk that I've had with anybody in this room. Know it's near and dear to my heart. I love everyone. So thank y'all so much for being here. That's it. Okay, and here we come with Trey Brown and the Faces.
So some of what AJ was just talking about is about all of the programs that we have here at Resource Center. We did end up having to consolidate this past year and rearranged what some of our community programs look like. And I have the privilege of working now with all of our adult programs. So you're familiar with United Black Element, which is why we're here tonight, serving Black, same-gender loving men, ages 18 to 35. And really when we get a chance to our entire Black queer community, because we don't really limit ourselves to who we're trying to serve here. We understand that it takes a village and we all have to lift each other up, really to be able to make everything work and to thrive and succeed. I also get to work with Fuse and Gender Brave, which are other programs that are specifically ages 18 to 35. They also work to mitigate and fight HIV in the community. But those programs are for Fuse, which is young gay and bi guys of all races, and then Gender Brave for young trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming individuals as well. And again, all of those are 18 to 35. They all have different programming that goes on throughout the week here. Check out our social media for some of those. Now, we have some other more specific programs like Sapphic, which is for queer women, ages 18 and up. We have events like Pride Prom and then a big queer camp where we're all gonna go out camping. I'm not a camping girl, but I'm gonna figure it out. You know, we gonna work it out. I'm gonna buy some boots and we gonna figure it out. But then we also have a program for aging LGBTQ people called Thrive. It's for our LGBTQ seniors, ages 55 and up. They also produce programming. As we know and we age, we become more isolated. And we at Resource Center want to try and fight that. We want to give people an opportunity to find community at all ages. And so our aging seniors, LGBTQ seniors, are able to have social programming. We also provide a senior LGBTQ plus support group as well. So our senior citizens have community and can find community and resources that are specific to them as well. And that's all of the adult programs that we have. And I'd like to introduce our program director, Jelinski Brown, and he can tell you a little bit more about Faces and Resource
Thank you. Stay here for just a moment. Listen, y'all, I have to tell y'all, like Trey, I'm a dreamer, so sometimes it's hard for me to be on like grounded, but Trey really keeps me grounded. This is my right hand, my left hand, my back hand, my upper hand, my uppercut sometimes. So let's please give a round of applause for Trey. Trey really makes the things happen, so thank you, Trey, for all that you do. So again, my name is Jelinski Brown. I have the pleasure of serving as the Director of Empowerment Programs. I am one half of our FACES department, which stands for Family and Community Empowerment Services. But before I continue speaking, I just want to take a moment to connect us all with the breath. So can I get everybody to just to sit up straight, like really tall, just straight spine, relax your shoulders. Just let us connect for a moment. I think breathing is one of the most important things that we do. And as we're talking about living Black history and writing our stories still being made, every breath that we take is an opportunity to create Black excellence. So if you would, just take a deep breath in for me. Really deep. Release in your abdomen. Breathe deep as you can. Fill up all lobes of your lungs. I know you just ate, but you know, push that down. Push it. It's gonna help you digest. Now, breathe out slowly through your nose. Just release. Release, release. Now, I want you to take another breath in. And this time, I want you to just be mindful of any tension, any stress that you may have in your body. Now, as you breathe out, release. Just let that go. You just take one more breath in and release. Now that we're all connected by the breath, I want to take a moment to acknowledge a few people who are in the room. I'd like to first off acknowledge Aloe. Aloe, if you would stand up and just wave to the people. This is my co-director in the Faces Department. They serve on the Youth First program, our community programs, our residential programs, and our family programs. So thank you, Aloe. I'd like to also acknowledge Cece Cox in the building. This is the CEO of Resource Center. So we are grateful for Cece's leadership. Y'all can give it up for Cece one more time. And then if you are a Resource Center employee in the building, just go ahead and raise your hand as well. I'd like to, everybody to acknowledge, because it does truly take a village to do what we do. I've had the pleasure of working with United Black Element for a long time, longer than I can remember at the moment. But it's been really amazing, the journey. It's been ups and downs. It hasn't always been perfect. But like AJ was saying, this journey for me has been very personal and professional. As someone who's deeply spiritual, I've always struggled with navigating this world, all these rules and regulations we have to operate in. But being in a place like United Black Element and having leadership such as CC and our very own Olivia Pope, Raphael McDonald, assisting me with merging all parts of my identity and allowing me to bring forth my ideas and not just have them sitting around in the dream world, but actually being able to create them and like cultivating spaces like this where we can come together in community and fellowship with one another is really amazing, because we oftentimes spend a lot of time alone. And for those of us that had to go through COVID, which is probably everybody in the room, we spent a lot of time isolated, and that didn't always feel good, being alone. And so for us to be able to come together, support one another, is really amazing. And even pulling this event together tonight, has been quite a struggle, because we had a lot of coordinators, and now we have one coordinator. And so we've had to really get more intentional and strategic about our resources and how we deploy those to continue doing the work that we do. And I have to acknowledge also a ton of volunteers and supporters, like Devin James. Devin, J-Rock, Ebony, individuals. They were once UBE coordinators as well, and they continue to be instrumental in assisting us in doing the work that we do. And as we move forward, yes, J-Rock, I call you all the time. And so it's really important for us to be able to cultivate spaces like this, because when I think about the word history, it's like history, his story, like whose story is that? Who wrote that story? And so I'm really intentional about writing my story and providing space for those around me to write their own story. I like to think that my personal mission in life is to find peace, love, happiness, joy, health, and understanding in my human experience, and assist those around me in doing the same. And I gotta say, I can't do that by myself, because the world that we live in is crazy. It's crazy. I was talking to Gian and Naomi last week. It's just amazing just to be able to call them and say, hey, can we just talk? I just need somebody to talk to. How are you? And so it's amazing, because in those moments we realize that we are writing our story. We are in control of our narrative. And so I like to encourage us as we're moving forward, especially thinking about Black History Month, although I don't know if y'all saw the video that we posted of David Boom on social media. He quoted Whitney, and he was like, we need a longer month. And I agree, we need a longer month. Because every day that we are living, we are breathing, we're existing is an opportunity to create Black history. And this night now is us creating Black history and doing what we do best, being Black and excellent. I'm looking around, there's somebody else I wanted to acknowledge. Brandon, can you stand up? Brandon Jones is in the building. We don't have to call it salt, but he's another one of our board of directors here at Resource Center. This is Resource Center's 40th year anniversary, and so let's give that a round of applause. And one of the reasons why I'm so drawn to Resource Center is, I don't know if many of you know, but one of the original names of Resource Center is Foundation for Human Understanding. And so, Foundation for Human Understanding, I think that's very important. So beyond all the labels that we apply, queer, or gay, or lesbian, whatever, it's just understanding who we are as human beings and cultivating space for us to be. And so we find that to be really important. So let's give everybody in this room a round of applause for being out in this room. And so I would now like to call up one of our awesome community partners, and then we have a keynote speaker that's going to come up and just take us on home for the evening. But before we get that, ladies and gentlemen, please assist me in welcoming James Berglund of Gilead.
Thank you. So I'm going to be really brief. So if you didn't know, Ashley, the video that we saw is actually my regional director and my boss. So she took a lot of what I was going to say. But I just want to thank the team for always including me in your space, for you all always welcoming me in your space. Know that as a representative of Gilead, I commit myself to continuing to support UB. I've been fortunate to see UB grow from really its inception, and in recognizing that we're celebrating Black excellence tonight, I want to give it up for what I consider our UB elders, all respectfully, but folks like Jelensky and Trey and PJ Motenpool and Sammy Nesbitt that really were pivotal in getting UB started and keeping it going. I've seen it move from location to location, but what has always remained consistent has been the commitment of your coordinators, of the staff, of the volunteers. So know that from Gilead, we certainly continue to recognize the importance of UB and Resource Center in the community here. I'm here to continue to support that work. So y'all feel free to stop by the table, grab a bag, grab some swag, and you're not getting rid of me. You're going to continue to see me, hopefully, at every event. I'm proud to be a continued supporter of United Black Element and Resource Center.
Yeah, as James mentioned, we've gone from location to location, and we were originally in Deep Ellum. So folks often ask, why is element spelled the way that it is, and it's not traditional element? Part of that is because UB originated in Deep Ellum, and so the original core group, which our core group is our decision-making body of the program, decided on the name, and they wanted to incorporate the space that we were occupying, and so we will forever take that with us as we go wherever we go wherever we grow. And we recognize that UB isn't a physical location, it's a movement, and it exists in the hearts and lives and the minds of everybody that it has touched and that it will continue to touch. And so with that being said, I want to call up a very special person who's like near and dear to my heart, and also is responsible for the food that we have tonight. So let's give it up for Chris Walker of Vive Healthcare. Before I turn the mic over to Chris, I just want to say it's been amazing watching this young man grow. I met him, I think in like 2014, 2016, 20 somewhere, a long time ago in Memphis, Tennessee at a conference, Saving Ourselves, that was created by the visionary Marvell Terry. And his idea was that we are the ones that we've been waiting on. We have the power to save ourselves. And seeing Chris go from a young college student to what he's about to share with y'all now, you know, all the things that he's doing continue to move and shake, and always have been a supporter of United Black Element. It's just amazing to see, because as AJ said, you know, UB exists to enable young, gay, and bisexual men to fulfill their greatest potential for good. And we like to see people doing that. So thank you, Chris.
Thank you for such kind words. How y'all doing? Let's get the energy up. I said, how are you all doing tonight? All right, so before I start, we are going to go through a simple exercise, okay? Because I want to make sure that you all have a presence in what I'm going to say to you tonight. So everybody say, take your right hand, open your right hand. Say I. Left hand, am. Bring it close, present. I am present. I am present. We're about to change it up. I am history. I am history. Okay, thank y'all for indulging me. So hey, how y'all doing? My name is Chris Walker, and I am your local friendly community liaison for ViiV Healthcare, the only pharmaceutical company solely focused on HIV. But in addition to that, I'm your son, I'm your brother, I'm your best friend, I'm your niece, I'm your cousin, I'm your nephew, I'm your Gulf Coast Kiki scene president, and your Gulf Coast mainstream secretary, okay? So in my message today, I'm gonna take you through 3 things. We're gonna talk about the past, present, and the future. Because all these points in time make up history. The past is history. The present, being in a moment, is history. And what we can achieve in the future is history. So the 3 points are past, present, future. Past, present, future. All right, so with the past, I'm gonna share with you the story of me in regards to how I get here. So I am a young, vibrant, 28-year-old man from Memphis, Tennessee, who was born to 2 teenage parents. And so growing up in a teenage parent household, being an only child, a lot of things that I experienced through life, I had to experience on my own. You know, so in everything I'm going to tell you, I don't blame my parents for anything that happened to me, because I only could experience what they experienced because there was a lack of exposure, right? Because when you're exposed to do things, you do better. Because my parents were not exposed to certain things in life, I had to experience some things to get to this point. So backing up, right? So growing up as this vibrant, smart, very so much in tune with the world, queer kid or queer questioning kid in Memphis, Tennessee, always wondering and finding and looking for a place to belong. Not seeing myself being represented in my community, not seeing myself being represented in television, I went to the internet to try to find out who I was. And so through that process, I ended up finding this magical site back in the day called BGC Live. If you know, you know, okay? BGC stands for Black Gay Chat Live. And so I can vividly remember me being a 13-year-old, 14-year-old young man trying to figure out who I was and being exposed to this world of sex and queerness through BGC Live. I would just go on there and read all the stories and get into the drama, and I was like, oh my God, I wish my life was like this. Why is it not? And so through that process, I also came into contact with some people who weren't the best people for me. I was 13 and 14, talking to men who were twice my age and thinking that it was okay. I was doing things and engaging in activities that I know now that I did not have no business engaging in, but that was because I didn't have the space to educate me, to make me aware of what I needed to do to protect myself. Moving forward. So as I continued to navigate that space to find myself through sex, unhealthy relationships, and risky behavior, I ended up going to college. And y'all know what college is. College is a good time. It's the time for you to explore, for you to find out who you want to be, for you to try new things. And so through myself and finding myself in college, I ended up getting HIV. I was a victim of sexual assault and ended up getting an HIV positive test. It was my senior year of college. I was an athlete, had ran track all my life. And it was my spring semester. I was on track to graduate. And so many of you who know me know that I always wanted to be a physician. I always wanted to be a doctor. But when I got that positive result during the heightened time of my life, I lost who I was. I lost sight of my goal. I lost sight of my mission. I became depressed. And so because I didn't know how to handle what was going on, I put it in the back of my brain. But it was always still there. And so, to make a long story short, trying to run away from the situations that happened to me in Memphis, I ran to Dallas. I said, you know what? I'm just gonna forget about it. It never happened. I'm gonna go to Dallas. I don't wanna go to Atlanta. I'm gonna go to Dallas. That's the next biggest place. I love the vibe. I love the energy. Maybe I can get a job at the medical school. I can work for a year at UT Southwestern and, you know, take my MCAT and go to train to be a physician. And so little did I know that I ended up moving here for a part-time temporary job. Say part-time temporary. Part-time temporary. So I know some of you all know about those. You may be getting $16, but you don't know if it's 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and it was part-time, it was only 20 hours, okay? So I moved here for a part-time temporary job at UT Southwestern in research. And so I said, this is my opportunity, this is my chance. But little did I know that the research field I was getting into was HIV research. So I was working as a part-time temporary data collector on the National HIV Behavior Surveillance. And so what that is that is a project that's funded by the CDC that gathers all the data from across the U.S. of areas that are highly impacted by HIV within specific communities. So what I was doing was that I was on the strip, posted up in a big RV and a UT Southwestern van, trying to encourage people to come talk to me, to tell me their life stories, to collect qualitative data, and give them an HIV test for $75, okay? Working all through the night, starting at 10 p.m., going all the way to 2 a.m., getting up, going to work at Sirius XM at 7, and getting off of Sirius XM and driving Uber and Lyft. I know y'all know the struggle is real. I was 22 and I thought that I could conquer the world. But now, baby, as I look back, I said I should have slept some. But I say that to say that in my engagement with people in the community and through them telling me their stories, storytelling became the thing that saved my life. Because I was asking these people what they were doing sexually, how they were having sex, or who they were having sex with, and I was giving them HIV positive results and testing them to give them negative results, and I saw so many people have the ability to be able to thrive with what I was telling them. Not survive, but just be okay with what I was telling them. And so what they didn't know is that through my work, giving them that $75 so they can go out and have the time of their lives, they were really saving me. Because the work that they were doing to control the narrative of their life outside of what society expected and thought that they could be inspired me to grab a hold into my life to become better. And so from that point, it was July 2017, and I said, you know what, Chris? If all of these people who look like you, who love like you, who enjoy some of the same things that you enjoy, can be okay with what's going on, you can too. So that's what inspired my public health journey. So from there, I went back to school, got my master's in public health, went from a part-time temporary position to a full-time position to a field supervisor, and then just my public health career and journey just started to open doors. And so there's a principle that I live by that I made up in my mind. It's called the law of peace. So within my life, there was a problem. A problem that I was facing was that I was living with HIV, and I didn't know what to do. I felt alone. My problem turned into a passion through my work. And from that passion, I found my purpose, right? And so that has been able to create a sense of fulfillment with me. So that's my past, right? So all these experiences that happened to me, well, most people sometimes think that I will regret. I don't. Because all of the skeletons in my closet, negative or positive, I accept them because they brought me to this point in time and space. That's my history. History in the making. Present. What I do now, 7 years later, going from a part-time temporary data collector to working at a pharmaceutical company, which is really big in the field of public health, being able to cultivate, to create spaces, to innovate, and work hand in hand with community-based organizations such as Resource Center and programs such as United Black Element to make sure that other young, queer kids impacted by HIV like myself can have the opportunities to be seen, to feel heard, to feel whole, and to be educated through arts, through advocacy, through culture, to be networked and ingrained in familial systems that will help them be their most authentic selves. Present. On top of all that work, what I do is that I control all the grants for the Texas area. So it just started in Dallas. But my work has been so astronomical that now I'm in Houston, I'm in Galveston, soon to go to Austin and San Antonio. So on top of that, I'm about creating spaces through innovation where we can reach people and acknowledge all the identities that make us who we are. Because HIV is so much more than having sex. It's what you look like, it's what you've been through, it's what zip code you stay in, it's if you have access to food, it's if you have a bus stop outside your house that can take you to Parkland and go get tested or wherever you want to go to. There's so much that goes into the HIV prevention field that we fail to realize. But the work that we do is so much more than just general testing. It's about creating opportunities for people to be seen, for heard, and feel valued. History in the making. when I think about the HIV and AIDS epidemic, we are 40 years into the fight. You know, back in 1981, there was this rare form of pneumonia. There was this rare sickness flooding the streets of LA and New York. And people didn't know what it was. It was mass hysteria. The only common link was that all these men are coming in, they white, and they gay. So before we had the term AIDS and HIV, it was called GRID, gay-related immunodeficiency disorder. It was called gay cancer. It was called gay men's pneumonia, 1981. So between the span of June and July, we went from around 1 case in June to around 28 cases of this rare form of this rare virus in June. And today, CDC estimates that during the same time period, there are around 42,000 people living with HIV that had gotten undiagnosed in the early years. Moving forward, as time started to continue, the face of HIV started to change. Science started to realize that it was just not white gay men living with HIV, that black and brown communities were being the brunt of the epidemic. In 1986, the CDC found out that majority of the cases of HIV were coming from black and brown communities. Okay? And then as we move forward in time, the face of HIV started to change. No longer was it just a white gay man stereotype. It was still coined as a gay thing, but now we started to see black faces. And so, even through acknowledging that there was more than just a white gay man's thing, there was no systems of support. There was a lack of support from a federal level. So you had people on the ground, people who were impacted by HIV come together to mount and create a change. History in the making. So one thing that I say is that no matter who you are, what you do in this field of public health, you can be an advocate because you have to learn how to acknowledge your own advocacy. Everybody's not going to be the person to stand up in front of a group of people and tell their story. Some people are going to push paper. Some people can repost, retweet. Some people can share. Some people can donate. So in that moment, in the mid-'80s, you had people from all walks of life acknowledging their own advocacy for the good of a community, and many of them did not represent. And as time moves forward, we started to see more representation in the HIV landscape, right? But even though there was representation, stigma still was around. There was a lot of discrimination, and the communities that were most impacted, which were communities of color, still didn't get what they needed. So, if you know me, you know I'm a data person, and I'm a numbers individual. So I'm going to give you some timelines and some numbers. So in 1994, it was found that HIV and AIDS was the leading cause of death for all people aged 25 through 44. Just 2 years later, HIV is no longer the leading cause of death for those folks in that age bracket, but it is the leading cause of death for black and brown folks in that same demographic. So why 2 years later did we fix it for our white brothers and sisters, but our people of color were still impacted? Back in 1986, we got reports that said black and brown bodies were bearing the epidemic, but it took you somewhere around almost 8 years to have any effective data to create a amount of change. Moving forward in time, it wasn't until 1998 that HIV was declared as a state of emergency within black communities. And then in 1999, we had our first black HIV/AIDS awareness day. And so what a lot of people don't know is that the first black prides that happened in New York and DC in the early 90s were out of the response for the HIV and AIDS epidemic within black communities. Because the government at the time didn't want to acknowledge what was going on in the streets. There was limited access. They had AZT, and they had HIV tested regimens, but people who looked like some of the folks in this room didn't have access because we couldn't afford it. We didn't know how to talk about it. We didn't have the language. History in the making. As we move forward in time, we started to see the face of HIV change. We started to see black women be included in the conversation. We started to create spaces where we were more inclusive to our trans brothers and sisters. But there was still so much disparity, especially within black communities. Fast forward, 2017, we have options for treatment, we have options for prevention, but the CDC projects that 1 in 2 gay black men will be living with HIV in their lifetime, will be diagnosed with HIV in their lifetime. At this point, we are 30 years in the epidemic, and still no change. So I say that not to make you upset. I say that to fuel my next segment, which is the future, which is going to be a call of action. Because all of us are history makers in process. Because we all have a story, we all have a narrative, and we all have a role to play when it comes to the HIV prevention workforce. I've told you some data points. I've told you some realities. Now I charge you all to figure out how can we innovate, how can we curate, how can we educate, how can we enhance access to make sure all people impacted by HIV, Black, same gender loving, queer, or not, know that they have spaces to keep what they need in order to be them themselves. You no longer have to just survive with HIV, you can thrive. I'm a living testimony. And sometimes we have to go through a test in order to have a testimony. And we've been through stuff, all of us. But I want to inspire you all to go out and figure out what does that look like for you. Every person that I see in this room is an advocate. If you leave here with nothing else, I want you to leave the thought that I want you to learn how to acknowledge your own advocacy and figure out what that looks like for you. I know it's hard sometimes trying to find yourself within systems that traditionally were not set up for you, but you can do it, you can make it happen. Sometimes you have to keep your foot on people's necks to let them know that you were still here, you matter, and that you're important, and that you care. Okay? Because I know that's what I plan to do. I'm going to keep my foot on people's necks through education, through positive messaging, through grant funding, through creating opportunities in space where I can talk about the things that I've been through and the things that some of us are going through in this room. By being transparent. Because only then can we dismantle some of that stigma that we've been facing for the past 40 years in this epidemic. So, history is the past, present, and future. Everybody in this room has the capacity to be able to activate a change. But it starts first with you acknowledging your own advocacy. Acknowledge it. Thank y'all so much.
So we're going to have our drummers give us a performance here in just a moment, but I just want to say a few more things after, it's just amazing, hearing Chris's message and just even being a part of the process of gathering this event and like all the things that United Black Element Resource Center and that we've been through over the last year. It's been a lot, but it's amazing. We make magic happen. And as Chris was saying, we all have a role to play in this. Trey, AJ, and I, we had the idea to do this event. It's been something years in the making, but in January, we were like, hey, are we gonna do this or are we gonna do this? And so we were like, well, child, I don't know how exactly we're gonna make it happen, but we're gonna put it on the calendar and it's gonna come closer and closer. But as time went by, we were able to call on people like the Chris's, the Devins, the J-Rocks, and Naomi, CJ, and all the people in our community, and everybody's just played a part. And even showing up tonight, it was, we had a lot of meetings and things, but it wasn't, we didn't have a chance to really bring it all together. But I see everybody has played their part so well. And Chris and I have had a couple of conversations, and that young man be working. Like, he drove from Houston today. Like, he had a conference. He drove from Houston, got off the road, showered, and came up here to be with us tonight. And so, to know what he's going through and what he does to make things happen, it's important to acknowledge our history and our change makers. And we really wanted to cultivate this space so that we can have an opportunity to have more FaceTime with one another and just celebrate one another and know who each other is in the room and what we do in the community. Because oftentimes it goes unnoticed, it goes unacknowledged because we're just so busy doing this and doing that and doing this. And we only get to see each other when we see each other. And so this space is a moment to acknowledge the work that we are doing and slow down and just celebrate ourselves and celebrate history, the past, present, and future. And the way that I see it, it's all happening right now. So all we really have is this now moment. What one of my mentors and teachers tells me the best way to predict the future is to create it. And so with that, let us take ownership of our narrative and we get to write where we go from here. Does anybody else want to come and join them?